Hey everyone, so today I'm not actually going to be on camera, but I wanted to share with you this cute and very easy beginner level DIY for a burlap wreath for Valentine's Day. I've never made a burlap wreath before, ever in my life. Never really it was not really up my alley kind of style of wreaths, but even though a burlap wreath really isn't up my style, I decided I wanted to go ahead and try it and see, and it wasn't until I found this hot pink satin ribbon that I thought that it would look amazing for Valentine's Day. And yeah, so I'm super excited to share this with you guys. I hope it comes easy for you as well. It was a little bit tricky to make sure each little poof was the same size. So keep that in mind. Make sure that when you are weaving your burlap through each of the little holes in here, you'll see what I'm talking about in a minute, but make sure every time that you weave that burlap through that it is about equal length in the fabric or in the burlap ribbon. So I hope you guys enjoy this tutorial. Stay tuned for the list of materials and the steps on how to get this cute look. And you guys, I think this was about $7. So super excited for this, and I can't wait to put it out my front door. Thanks for watching. So the first thing I have here is my heart wire frame. I got this at Hobby Lobby for $247, but it was 40% off of that price. So I'm going to go ahead and take this tag off. The next thing you're going to need is a burlap ribbon, and I purchased this at Hobby Lobby as well, $5.99, and it was 50% off, so this was about $3. And my dog is walking around and making a lot of noise. And I do have two little twisty ties that I just took from my bread things, I don't know. But you can use pipe cleaners or anything that will twist and turn and hold, if that makes any sense. Okay, so now I am just gonna find a starting point, and I think I'm gonna start right here on a straight line and then deal with the curves as I come back around. So the first step that we're going to take is we're going to take our burlap ribbon and we're going to fold it in half like this, and then we're going to fold it in quarters like this, and we're going to loop this through the first ring on the inside. So we're going to feed it like this right here, and then wrap it around to secure it to the first ring. So how I'm going to do that is I am going to take some hot glue. And this is where you can use pipe cleaners to secure, but I'm just going to use hot glue. And make sure that I'm adding it to the wire itself, or else this will slide around. And I'm going to fold this over and make sure that the burlap is holding on to the wire where we just hot glued. And now I'm just going to kind of trim this excess. I've never done this before. I'm sure there's a much nicer, easier, prettier way to do this, but this is the way I'm going to do it. Next step is to feed the burlap through the first opening here. So it doesn't have to be folded into halves or quarters anymore, and you feed it through the first slot, and you kind of pull it out maybe about this much, and then depending I guess on how fluffy you want it to be, and then we'll do the same thing and push it out through the second slot like this. And now we're going to scrunch it together like this, flip it around, and we're going to twist the back. Okay, and we hold on to the twist, so I'm holding on to it with my thumb right here. Here's the twist, and I'm holding on to it. We're not going to secure it, we're just twisting it, and then we're going to repeat that step all over again. So I am going to feed this through the first section, then you will find that this keeps twisting with you, so you're gonna have to unravel it. And then, so pull it out as much as fluffy as you want it to be, and then feed it through the second slot. And it's pretty secure, so I can The twist is holding very well, so I no longer really have to hold it. And now I'm going to feed the second one through. Okay, so now we're going to bunch that up again, like this. Turn it around. Make sure you don't pull down or else you're gonna pull out the little second layer here. And we are going to twist. I don't think the direction of the twist necessarily matters. I'm just going counterclockwise. And now I'm going to feed through here again. Because this has a break right here, there's another wire that's stopping this one from being with this little group right here. I don't think I really need to twist in the back. So I'm gonna go ahead and skip the twist step right there and just go ahead and feed through this first section, like this. And then I will feed through the second section. And keep eyeballing it as you go along and make sure that everything seems to be equal. You don't want one side to be fluffier than another section. I'm not too worried about my starting point right here because I am going to scrunch it once I come back around. So this side's gonna look a little bit bigger, as you can see, but once I come back around, see that? It's gonna be pretty much even. So just make sure that you're pulling about the same amount of burlap as you are, you know, for each little section that you're doing. The hardest part about this is the trailing burlap that just sits there waiting to go through. It just twists and turns. And so you just have to keep like straightening it out. But I have fed again both loops. Both ends are out on the first hole, on the second hole. Now I am going to scrunch, flip it around, and twist. I don't think the direction matters. I'm going to flip it back over and do it all over again. See, this just keeps twisting on me. Okay, so my heart is complete. I will say as a beginner, it was not like the easiest thing to do. I mean, it's easy to feed it through, the steps are easy, but making sure that each piece is like evenly distributed and scrunched up, and then you do the twist. And when you do the twist, sometimes you lose some of that scrunch. So keep that in mind. And I actually did run out of burlap, this same kind of burlap ribbon. Like I ran out of this, so you would need about 2 of these, but you wouldn't even use all of the second one. And I had some of this on hand, and it was a lot thinner than this one. And so you can kind of see the difference here between this ribbon and this ribbon. But it's okay because my bow is actually gonna go right here, so you can't really see it. But you can tell that it's like not the same amount of fluffiness, but I did want it to be a little bit narrow and smaller on the tip so that you could tell it's a heart instead of it like looking like a weird shape up here. So I did want there to be like this open space right here so that you could tell this was a heart. So now we're going to move on to the bow, and hopefully I can explain this in the easiest way possible. So I want to make 2, 4, I think I want to make 6 loops in my bow. I want my bow to have, you know, 6 little bows, okay, but only 2 tails. So I'm gonna pull enough here. I'm gonna hold my finger up here because this is about the length of the tail that I want, and I want to give myself a little bit more in case I need to cut at the end. But this is where I'm gonna start to make my loops, okay? So this is my first tail. So I folded it over, and now I'm gonna go back. So it's kind of like we're doing some figure 8s. Okay, do you see that? And we're gonna make another loop. So there is the second loop. So we actually have 3 loops. So we have this loop right here, the second and third loop. And now we're going to figure 8 back And now we've got 4 loops. And now we need 6, so here's the 5th loop. And now here is the 6th loop. So after the 6th loop, now you need enough for the tail for the other side. So I'm just gonna do a rough cut. So now I'm gonna scrunch this up in the middle, and I'm gonna take one of my little bread ties. It'll be a lot easier to work this way if I can have the center secured and then use my hands too. Okay, so I've got the bread tie in the middle. I want to sort of pull my loops apart from each other. This would be a lot easier if you have ribbon with a wire edge, because this is actually proving to be somewhat difficult. And now we're going to try to do the other side. Okay, so now I'll mess with the loops in a little bit, but now we need to cover the center because you can see the little bread tie. So we're going to take a piece of the ribbon and cover up the center like this. So I just need to cut up just a little bit. So I'm actually going to fold this in half and take some hot glue, apply to the center, and then we are going to make sure it's nice and in half, and then we're going to lay it over that hot glue and add some more hot glue. And I'm gonna go ahead and trim this because it's a little bit long. And then fold it over. And then this is gonna happen where glue is just gonna string everywhere. So let's get our wreath, and then we will find our spot like this. I mean, you can put it wherever you'd like. I mean, I'm gonna put it to the left spot to add my hot glue. I'm going to cut the tails, and I think I'm gonna go at an angle. Okay, so here is what the wreath looks like. I mean, it's very pretty. It's definitely not, you know, the most perfect first burlap wreath ever, but let me tell you, these on Etsy can run anywhere between $30 to $200. So I love that I basically made this in about $7. $7 frickin' dollars. I absolutely love this, and now I'm gonna put it on my front door. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If you have any questions, just comment below and let me know, and I'll try my best to answer all of them. I know this wasn't like the best visual tutorial I've ever provided, but if you do get stuck, just look on YouTube. I'm sure there's tons of burlap how-tos. I'm a beginner, and I just wanted to keep it simple and classic, and so I went with this look. And I do have another wreath DIY that's going to be coming up here in a couple of days, so I'm super excited about that one as well. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!